Hi, good afternoon, or good morning whenever you're watching this. My name is Tobin, and today we are here to make masks. This is a mask making class, and I'm very excited to do this today because the artist we're focusing on is a really cool artist who goes by the name Damselfrau. You may have seen her on Instagram. She's been featured in a lot of things, and she makes really cool masks. So we're going to sort of do a takeoff of that. Hers are much more complicated and much cooler. Which you'll see some examples of. But first, I wanted to let you know that our workshops here at Remainders Creative Reuse spotlight an invaluable yet underrepresented contribution of women and BIPOC artists from the last 2 centuries. We highlight the artists' work with examples, talk about their lives, and give a hands-on studio class directly inspired by their work, showing how female and BIPOC artists have strong voices that continue to be integral to the institution of art. So with that said, let's get started with some examples on Magnhilda Kennedy. She's our artist that we're focusing on. She goes by the name Damselfrau, as I said, in her professional life, but her name is actually Magnhilda Kennedy. She was born in 1978 in Trondheim, Norway. She's based in London now, but she is Norwegian. She creates wearable art, mostly masks and jewelry. Her masks are presented on her own Instagram account and on several other websites, in magazines and exhibitions, and they are used by internationally known singers and other artists in their videos or on stage, or as part of her own projects. She and her husband Robert Kennedy moved to London in 2007. She made masks only for herself and her husband as part of outfits to be used at parties, something I can totally relate to. But from 2009 on, she worked as a professional mask maker under the name Damselfrau. And Damselfrau consists of the English word damsel, which means an unmarried woman, and the German word Frau, which means woman. She interprets this inherently paradoxical pseudonym as married to oneself, which is very interesting. She's a journalist once called the name a fitting mantle for an artist who has become renowned for her masks, a craft that involves placing another self on top of your own self, creating both a combination of the two and suggesting something entirely new altogether. Kennedy's first commission was for the Norwegian singer Anneli Drecker and the band Roykshop, who are one of my favorite groups, for one of their tours. Since then, she's made masks for artists like Moo, Beyoncé, and Daphne Guinness, and collaborated with Louis Vuitton as well. All Damselfrau masks are made mostly sewn by hand. The materials range from pearls, old tea towels, gold confetti, plastic trinkets, and old laces. She never sketches or decides the design of a mask beforehand. The materials she combines decide the design and expression of each mask as she is inspired by them, which is something we love to do here at Remainders as well. Most of the time she sculpts on a mannequin head first, so she can sort of place it on the mannequin head and get the feel of it and be inspired that way. And the process sometimes takes a day or a week, which is again perfect for our class because this is a class that we give you a week to do before the Zoom meetup. Let's see. Sometimes it looks like the process, sometimes the mannequin head will sit on a shelf wearing a half-finished mask for a long time until the right material surfaces in her studio. And it's said that Kennedy's masks transgress the borders between art, fashion, and costume design. She is not particularly interested in masks as a category. What interests her is to work with all sorts of materials, preferably materials from a history, and organize them in a small area so that in the end, they communicate something, which is very interesting. So that's a little bit about Magnhilda Kennedy, who's our artist today. She goes by the name Damselfrau. You can look her up on the internet and on Instagram if you're on there. And we've shown you some great examples of her work. So let's go ahead and show you what we've got here today and get started. Okay? All right, so you're gonna need a hot glue gun. Everyone's friend is a hot glue gun. And remember our motto, hot glue is hot. You're gonna need probably a pair of scissors. I'm gonna use a paintbrush. Because I like to paint on the tacky glue, which I'm also gonna use with a paintbrush. Makes it a little bit easier to put on and move around. And we will supply, these are the things we won't supply. The things we will supply to you is a mask form. This one has a little bit of stuff on it. Yours will be all white. I've gotten a little bit of a head start on this. And we'll supply you with an array of things. So we've got buttons, really cool buttons, feathers, tissue paper, which is great for gluing on, some sequins. If you might also look around the store when you come to pick up your supplies and see if you see something else that you would like to put. Like I found these really cool beads, which I think I probably want to use. I don't know, we'll see. You know, this is all up in the air. I also found this leftover Christmas trim, which would be kind of cool on a mask, because I found this great piece of broken jewelry that I think the trim would go well with. I think they kind of would go, they'd be cool together. I also pulled some little tiny styrofoam balls, just in case, and some little sort of like, I can't think what these are called right now. These little like pom-poms. Thank you, camera person. Pom-poms, little tiny styrofoam balls. And I want to show you the example we're working from today. In addition to Damselfrau's examples, we have this beautiful example made by our executive director, Robin Cox. And look how cool this is. She is a fan of keys. You can see there are keys all around it. And it's she's covered the white surface with this sort of like glittery material, which is maybe hard to see on camera. And then used some beads for a mouth, and then placed all of these little sort of like bangles and sequins around it. It's really, really cool. It's such a beautiful mask. So this is sort of our inspiration, or our finished piece. I know that when you come to the Zoom class, you'll bring something even more amazing, which has been the case every time we've had one so far. The things that people are making are incredible. So that's what we're working towards. I'm going to put that over here, and this is what we're starting with. Big difference, big difference. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by, what I've already done is covered some of this with tissue paper using the tacky glue, but I'm going to put some more on it because I want to cover it. I want it to be really cool like that. So I am just going to take some tacky glue on my paintbrush and start just putting it where I want the tissue paper to go. It's good to just lay down a base first. I mean, this is totally subjective. If you don't want to lay down a base first, you of course don't have to, but I think when you're using tissue paper, putting down a base first helps sort of keep it in place. And then going over the top of it, of course, with more glue is always wise, but I think you'll see what I mean once I get it on there. It's a good place to just make it stay rather than move around and try to glue over the top of it. You can see I'm going to put this piece right up here across the face, and I'm going to use this black because I like it a lot. But yeah, like that. So I'm just see now if I tap it down, see it just stays in place a little bit. That's because we put our tacky glue down first. Now, that's the great thing about tissue paper too, is that once you get it a little bit wet, like it is with this tacky glue, it'll just conform to everything. It'll fold in on itself, it'll move around and conform and lay down, and it's really great that way. I love using it because of that exact thing. It sort of, once you get it wet, it acts a little bit like fabric instead of paper, where it will lay. But that's helped by us putting down a layer or a bed of glue first, which is what you watched me do. So you can see I'm just laying it down. It ripped a little bit, which is fine. That's totally fine. There are no mistakes. There are only happy accidents. I think that's something Bob Ross said, which I think people love Bob Ross, I suppose, so that's fine to quote him. I remember a time when Bob Ross wasn't considered so cool, but now he's kind of a cool hero guy. So here we go. We've got that down. And keep in mind your tacky glue is going to dry clear. It'll be shiny, but it won't be this sort of white that you see here. So there's that. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put some more down. I want to try to cover most of this facial part so that you can't see a lot of white. So I'm just, and you'll also see that when I put this red over the top of this yellow, it'll a little bit change colors, which is cool. It'll change the color of things just slightly. You should be able to see some of that through, and it'll look kind of orange rather than yellow. So I'm just getting this good base down so we can build on top of it. And that's another thing that's good about tacky glue, is that it'll dry pretty quickly, so you can keep working on top of it, like especially if you're using hot glue or something like that. They act well together, they play nicely together, which is very good. So there we go, we got that on. I need to add some more though. Will this fit there? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna just rip that off a little bit. Continue my yellow up here on the top of the head. Place that down. Yeah. Also, when you come pick up your stuff for the class, we will have things in a specific area that you can choose from, and you're of course encouraged to use. But also, if you want to go around the store and find some other things that more interest you, or if what we have laying out isn't stuff you want to use, you're certainly welcome to go around the store and pick some other stuff so that you can get something you really like and that will be useful. And that's totally encouraged. And at the time, you just, when you come to pick stuff up, just say like, hey, I want to go look around for more stuff. Or if you have stuff at home, obviously, that's really good to use too. Because then you're guaranteed to have things that you like. And when you're making your mask, when you're coming up with your idea of what to do, keep in mind what you might want to use it for, or like what it would be good for. Some people want to wear masks they make, like we were just talking about with Damselfrau, but also some people just like to put them on their wall or just put them somewhere to look at, which is totally fine too. So that should also inform how you make it. Like for instance, this one you can see I've sort of covered up the eye, which we could carve out if we wanted to. But if you were going to wear this mask, it would be hard to see with just one eye. So obviously I'm not planning on wearing this. I just want to make something cool. So let's see, what color should I put down here? I think blue. Yeah, I think blue. So I'm gonna cut a blue piece with my handy dandy scissors. Generally the shape that I think it is, yeah, that's about right. And then again, I'm just gonna lay a little bed of glue out here to get this going. I'm going under the chin so that it lays down. It doesn't give me a hard time. Yeah, that's gonna be good. I like that very much. So I'm just sort of like, as I tap, because I laid down that bed of glue, I can sort of tap and it stays in place that way. It's kind of nice that way. I really like it actually. All right, so we've got that in place a little bit. I'm gonna go over it, make sure it stays where I want it. I really like how this straight line goes across here. I think that's so cool. So you can get inspiration from anywhere for these. I mean, you might already have ideas of what you want to make or what you like to use, or sort of what theme, if you want to make a theme for your mask. Sometimes when I make masks and things, I make themes, especially around Halloween. But sometimes I just go with the flow, which is what I'm doing right now. I just sort of grab things that I gravitate towards and then start placing them places, and not giving it too much thought so that it's a bit more fun and a bit more creative. And it sort of opens up more possibilities that way. So I'm not overthinking anything. Overthinking is the killer. So you can see already that's off to a really good start. I love this section. I think that looks so cool. So next, I should probably start adding other things. So like we mentioned, like we have some great buttons and feathers, which would be good to use. I'm gonna open this up and take a look at these buttons and feathers. Oh yeah, this is some great stuff. These buttons are so gorgeous. Can you see the buttons? They're awesome. It's a good bunch. We got a good bunch of buttons. These are some great buttons. Look at those. Little dots. This one is so cool. I love this one. Can you see that? That's so cool. Is that in the camera? Yeah. That's such a great one. I'm definitely going to use that. And you got little ones if you want to use it. Anything like that. So this is where that magic happens with our glue gun. We bring in our friend the glue gun. Also, we got feathers. We got great feathers. Like, there's some really great feathers here that will go nicely. Like, I love pink and blue together. I think pink and red always look nice together. Pink goes with about everything, I think, personally. This is a great blue that matches the blue of the paper, so that's good to use. So maybe I'll start by putting some feathers on. Or wait, no, you know what? I'm gonna start by putting one of these really cool sequins around the edge of it. That's what I want to do first. So I'm just going to run it around the edge and maybe let it hang off the side. So I'm probably going to run it around this edge and let it hang down here. That's something in the masks I've made in the past. That's something that I usually end up doing, and obviously I like. So I'm just going to start it off that way. Oh, and you know what? Where's my, I don't know. Hang on. You're gonna need something to tap down with the hot glue. I use a stick so that I don't burn my finger. I call it a tamping stick, but it probably has any sort of number of names you might think of. So I'm just gonna bring that down there. Maybe bring a little bit back up. And I'm gonna put this in place. I've measured it first to make sure it's in the middle, where I know where the middle is. Then I'm gonna lay it there, and I'm gonna use my handy dandy tamping stick. In this case, it's the back of a paintbrush. And I'm just going to tap that down into place in the glue so that it stays where it is and it doesn't burn my finger. So now I'm going to do the other side. Bring that down there, get a little line of glue going, and just place that there. And then again, use my handy dandy tamping stick to tamp it into place. I had a different tamping stick for some of these other classes. I don't know what I did with it. It was getting pretty full of glue, so maybe it's not a bad thing that it's disappeared. So you can see already this is taking shape. It's looking pretty cool. I like the idea of leaving these sort of like these longer strings at the bottom. Maybe we'll think of something to do down there. But I think it gives it sort of an interesting look when it has things hanging off of it or coming off the top of it, that sort of thing. So I wanted to make sure I got that on there. So next I'm going to put some feathers up here at the top. I want to make a little feather area using the glue. And I think I actually want it to be on the, sort of at the crest of the forehead. So I'm gonna just grab one, place it in place, use my tamping stick, because remember our motto, hot glue is hot. It really is. For those of you that don't know, hot glue is really hot, and it hurts when you burn yourself. So use the stick. Use the stick method. There, I just invented that. You're welcome to use it yourself. I won't ask for royalties, but it's the stick method. Okay, so we've got 3 of those on. See, this is going pretty quick. This doesn't have to take a lot of time. It doesn't require a lot of thought. If you're putting too much thought into it, I think you should take a break and get some tea or take a walk with your dog or something like that to sort of just chill out, because none of this should take any amount of focused, crazy energy that you overthink. It's not an overthinking thing. None of these classes here are overthinkers. We can give you ideas if you don't have any. We're happy to give them to you. You can call the store. If you come in to get your stuff, you can ask the people there what ideas they might have for making. Just tell us what you want to know and we will help. That's what we are here for, is to help. And that's also what the Zoom meetup is for the week after this class airs. It's for asking questions figuring out what you might have gone wrong, or what you weren't sure about. It's also a chance to show off what you've made. I get very excited to see what people make in these classes. I think it's a thrill. I'm telling you, it's such a great feeling to see what people have made, especially to come together in a little community setting and just chit chat and talk and give a little bit of a critique and tell people what you like and what you don't like about what they made. I mean, it feels amazing. It's been so much fun this far, which is great, because the pandemic having been a way of separating people and people, staying away and staying home, this is a great way to socialize. Bring your wine, bring whatever you want, and come and do it. It's been really, really fun. So I'm going to place a button here. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe I should turn it around if you can't see it very well. There, that's maybe a better view. I'm going to put this really cool button in the middle of here because I think it's a cool button. So I'm just going to place it there. I think I'm going to put this down first, just to make sure my button stays in place. Oop, tried to get me. The hot glue tried to get me just now. It tried so hard. I want that to really stay in place. Oh, it did get me. All right. So I've got that button in place. I think that's looking really cool. I love the way this is looking. I'm going to place a couple of more buttons. Oh yeah, and I want to use this really cool piece of jewelry. This looks like it came off of a necklace or a tiara. It's obviously very old. If you can see, it's made with these really crazy silver strings that are just woven through all of these old pearls and little things. It's really crazy looking, and it looks like it was sewn onto something. This is obviously very vintage. It looks very, very old. But I definitely want to place this on my mask somewhere. So that's why I left the bottom open, because I think I want to put it down here and make a little beard on my mask. I think that would be really cool. I hope it will stay. This is probably going to take a lot of glue to stick it down, but let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can make it happen. So I'm going to get these out of the way. We'll get our glue ready. Oh gosh. Wait, let me make sure I know where it goes first. It's going to go right about there. So we need it to go up here and up here. Okay, so right there are the two places where we need to start the glue. I'm sort of pushing on the top of the glue stick just to give it a bit more, get a bit more glue going through there, because you're going to need it to stick down this huge thing, or I'm going to need it, I guess, more importantly. I'm going to place this in there, and I'm going to sort of just like hold it in place for a little bit while that glue dries on it. That's important with hot glue. It dries quickly, but not super quickly, so you kind of have to hold things in place with something that you maybe want to fit a certain shape like this. But this is looking really cool. I actually love the way it's looking. I just want to press on it a little while longer, and actually I'm going to blow too a little bit, just to make sure it dries in place. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty cool to me. Let me turn it around so you can see it a little bit better. I think this is off to a great start. This thing, whatever this is, this part of a tiara or whatever it is such a cool item. I'm really glad that somebody donated that and we found it, because it's so cool. So I'm just going to place a couple more buttons here. And then I think we'll probably be just like, and have done enough to let you go on your own and make yours and see what you come up with. I'm excited to see it. I'm very excited to see what everybody makes. It's going to be a lot of fun, that class. And so, yeah, so just in case it's not clear, a week after this airs, you'll get an email. It might even be in the same email with the link to the class. You'll get a Zoom link, and that every Wednesday at 6:30, we have Zoom meetups with the people in the classes, and we get to share our ideas and share our critiques and share the work that we've made in these classes. It's a chance to come together and show what you've done, and it's really, really fun. I have enjoyed it so much. It gives me such a great feeling of just camaraderie, and people come and it's a good time, and it's just been amazing. It really, really, truly is. Super cool. So that will happen. You'll get that link. You'll be able to come and just meet the other people that were in the class with you. And, oh, I shouldn't have placed yellow next to yellow. Who cares? And you'll be able to just talk and see what they did. It's a blast. Anyway, that is going to happen a week after this class airs on our YouTube channel. And there, I think that's pretty good. I think this is off to a really good start. I'm going to keep working on it, and you should keep and or start working on yours as well. Here's sort of a better look at mine so far, which is looking really cool. And I'll bring it to the Zoom class so you can see it, as well as the really amazing example, which this doesn't hold a candle to, made by Robin. Look how cool this is. It is just beautiful. It's got a really cool piece of broken jewelry, these keys all the way around it, another piece of broken jewelry at the top, and then these little sequins that are sort of almost half moon shaped. They're so cool. Anyway, so these are our two examples. I will bring them both with me. I'm going to let you get started on yours. You can take a look at our examples one more time. I'll show them to you again, just so you get an idea. You can also rewind the video. No problem with that. And if you have any questions when you come to pick up your supplies, you can ask them then. You can call us. The information is in the description to get a hold of us. Any questions you have or anything you need help with, we're here to help. And also the Zoom class a week later is going to be a great time to ask questions and show what you've done. In the meantime, I'm going to let you go, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. And I wanted to let you know that this class and others like it here at Remainders Creative Reuse are made possible by a generous grant from the City of Pasadena Arts and Culture Commission, and we thank them for that. And we thank you. We thank you so much for coming and joining us in these classes, and I hope that you have a great, great time. So I'll see you soon. Bye.